So coming up next is I like to call him a friend of mine, um, Jared Craig, who is an attorney who wears 50 million thousand hats in the fight for justice and truth. I'm going to let him talk about some of the hats that he wears and some of the things that he's involved with. Please pay attention because as we move into the next election cycle, the future of America is on the line. That's not a threat. That's not rhetoric. It's on the line. So pay close attention to what he's saying. This is going to help you when the next cycle comes along.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Lucretia and Surrea for inviting me to come speak, and I am honored to be a sponsor of this event. I'm here wearing the hat today for Veterans for Trump, and I'm representing the national organization, representing the candidates that are for America First agenda policy, that are not only looking to get into office on that agenda, but actually vote on that agenda. With America First candidates, we have to inform the public of who they are, and that should not be a bipartisan perspective. But right now, the Republican Party has some weaknesses. And our organization, Veterans for Trump, also known as Veterans for America First, we're building a network at the federal level and at the state level. And we are vetting candidates to see who they truly are. And when they get to office, who they have become or who they have retained their merit, their integrity, and their morality. One thing that we have found as we go around the country is we are seeing an upswing where they want to have all of the conservatives, the Christians, the family-minded people to think that we are now the smaller pool of people. We are getting sick and tired of it. Enough has been enough for a long time. And the silent have become active. The people that I have visited as north as Maine, as far west as California, and I haven't done the four corners like the bikers have, but we're seeing a change in attitude. Now, specifically in Georgia, our group has been meeting with state senators, and we have got some movement. Recently, there's been a bill that prohibits the surgical the surgeries for minors to mutilate their bodies, even with parental consent. Now in Georgia, that's banned.
Thank you.
In addition to that, there have been some hormone blockers and the chemical castrations of our children. Even with parental consent, we're moving forward to have that banned. We've been fighting against the transgendered drag queen shows aimed at children. We shut down the one in Cumming, Georgia. We're looking to affect the one down in, Savannah. But those types of erosion activities, we're not going to stand by any longer because the conservative message has a thread that weaves through it. And that thread is for continuity. It's for success. It's for the benefit of the people by the merits of the people. If you look at the Democratic or the Marxist or whatever you want to call that agenda, there's no thread. The only commonality with their policies are to erode and destroy. There is no long-term gain for any of the candidates that are holding themselves as Democrats but are truly anarchists, atheists, Marxists. They don't want us to succeed, and they hate us for doing so. Now, I know we have faith over fear, and I'm not a man of the cloth, but everything boils down to ethics, family, morality, and integrity. And we have a lot of candidates who have those traits, that have those abilities, but they just don't have those dollars. They don't have the knowledge of what they need to get done to get their message out. So our organization has stepped up to give them a platform, to show the people what better options you have. And we want to be the go-to organization to figure out who you have to vote for, because the current RNC is not doing that. The RNC right now, between the state and federal offices, there is no real connectivity. And if there are, it's between a small group of people that you don't know the names and they don't know you either. They don't care to. So we found a a vacuum of need, the need of the voters, the need of the residents of this state and every other state to know what your options are. And I understand politics gets exhausting. Yard signs get exhausting. Commercials get even more exhausting, and junk mail is exhausting too. But we want to look through that and look to the person and let you know who that person is. So the most qualified people are able to do the job independently. Because what we find in DC, even Georgia and the Gold Dome, those that are not qualified rely on consultants and faceless bureaucrats that do not go anywhere. Those faceless people were not elected. Those faceless people are going to be in that office regardless of who holds that office. We want to have independently qualified candidates to do the job that needs to be done, because we can't stand by and let gimmicks prevail. And the gimmicks are paper thin. We can see through that. We want work done. And I ask y'all to be interested. Speak to your neighbors. Speak to your family. Now I'm going to divert for a minute because I don't really like notes, and I'm kind of doing this organically, but back to family. If we don't speak to our family what our values are, the next generation is being raised by strangers. Our education department at the state level, at the federal level, at the college level, should not be the primary education of our children, our grandchildren. That should fall on the parents. So if you don't keep an open dialogue between you and the next generation, you're robbing them of the generational wisdom that defines us as a human race. The generational wisdom is how we prevail. It's how we progress. Not how the progressives would have you progress, but actually truly progress. If you have a family member who seems a little wayward and wants socialism and everything free, I strongly suggest you kick them out and teach them how to be independent. That might be a little tough love. But we need to insulate and perpetuate the conservative message to be independent, to have an individual set of rights, not a collective sense of rights, an individual salvation, not a collective salvation. Because we as a people currently have a country that's worth saving. If we don't step up now, I don't know if I could say that next time. So thank you for your time. I appreciate y'all giving me a chance to speak, and it's been a pleasure meeting each and every one of you. So thank you very much.